Welcome in, Bulls Nation. What's going on? CHGO Bulls postgame on deck. Pack Big Dave and Will Perdue breaking down the Bulls 135-126 loss to the Utah Jazz, who are no longer winless. That's coming up. What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into CHGO Bulls postgame. Coming to you live from our studios here in West Loop, downtown Chicago. I'm Peck, Bulls_Peck. That's Big Dave. Bow, bow. BAWL Sports, man in the middle, Will_Perdue 32. On the controls, the one and only Katie Duffy Queen. Will the Go Gottlieb will join us from the United Center coming up later on in tonight's postgame show. Thank you for joining us. Hit that like button if you're hanging out on YouTube. Make sure you also subscribe to that CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Throw us a super chat. If you're feeling generous tonight, we will get to all of those and as many of your comments as we can throughout the show.
I'm confused. Why?
Was he just waving cash around?
Yeah. What's the significance of this? Will Perdue.
This is the $3 I won in the Dunkin' Donuts race.
Wow.
Yes.
$3,
and
huh?
Just so you know, there were 4 of us tonight at the game.
Yes.
My choice was what was given to me. I let my wife choose first.
Mm-hmm.
She chose cup of coffee.
Always.
Maritza chose second. She went with Dashing Donut.
Okay.
Charlie, he went third, and he chose iced coffee.
Iced coffee, yes.
So I was stuck with Benny. Is it Benny the Bagel?
Biggie Bagel.
Biggie Bagel. I apologize.
Yeah.
So I just got stuck with him. And I always knew I was good because on the final lap, going in the final lap, he was in last. So I'm like, I got a chance.
Congratulations.
Did you give your wife the MJ line?
Proud of
Like, I want to be able to say I got your money in my pocket.
No, remember the line from Vegas that my wife likes to use?
Which one?
Hey, honey, down in dollars, up in memories.
Up
That's right.
memories.
That's
There
right.
you go. This is not a pleasant memory for the Bulls. It will not be when they watch their film.
Ooh.
Guys, we were talking in pregame about how the Bulls really can't afford to take any team lightly.
True.
Even the winless Utah Jazz,
Yes.
who were the league's worst offense coming into tonight's game.
Mm-hmm.
Last in points per game, last in offensive rating, and by a wide margin in both categories. The Bulls gave up a season-high 135 points to that team, Dave.
Ow!
Defense optional. Your 24-25 Chicago Bulls.
Well, as Adam Amin also stated, this is the highest number of points that the Bulls have ever given up to the Utah Jazz. Was it 112 meetings?
As a franchise,
As
As head-to-head franchise games.
Most points ever. And it's just more hilarious because, again, they had not won a game walking into play tonight at the UC. I thought that they came out and they just kind of punched the Bulls in the face. Like, forget the mouth. They punched them in the face. And, like, they just wanted it more. They played more determined. I walked away really impressed with how well coached they are, honestly. To get a guy like John Collins kind of reined in and, letting his real skill kind of show forth. Like, Collins is a guy who can score from anywhere and guy who has that athleticism and can rebound anywhere. He was giving Patrick Williams all kinds of fits to the point that Patrick fouled out tonight, which I haven't seen in quite a very long time. So, yeah, I give them a lot of credit. I thought Walker Kessler, Texas Ranger, was the best player in the first half on the floor. Like, he really dominated the Bulls. And anytime they tried to do anything inside, he wasn't having it. He was not allowing it.
Finished with 16 boards and 4 blocks to go along with his 12 points.
He wasn't having it, man. George just,
Keontae George went off.
33 points, man, 6 threes.
Who needs Lauri? Who needs Clarkson?
They didn't matter. He was like, and the 3-point wave he gave him with this, honestly, I was going to consider him for Goon of the Night, like doing something like that, dog. That was exquisite. I'd never seen that before. And I just love the pettiness of it. It was great. They were just tougher than the Bulls. And it wasn't like the Bulls weren't great offensively. We'll get into that. But, Will, that defense was not good.
No, it was porous.
Porous, yes.
You know, it was kind of funny. A friend of mine, I'll just say his first name, Stuart.
Shout out.
Texted, just because we're playing in pace, does that not mean we can't play defense? We talked about this. You know, it's kind of funny. I was like,
sorry, Stu.
I hope people watch our show because we've been batting 1,000 lately.
Yeah.
As far as the subjects that we talk about in pregame and how the game plays out. So I think that just proves this isn't rocket science because a bunch of idiots like us are, you know, figuring it out.
Heyo.
Good looking.
At least you are one handsome man, especially in London.
Worldwide, Will. Worldwide, baby.
We're going to start calling you Worldwide Dave.
Ooh, come on with that.
WWD.
WWD.
That's that. I mean,
like
that
the
just
wrestling fan over here wouldn't hate that.
that just kind of brings a whole new meaning to WD-40.
A lot of ways. Yeah, Katie, you know what? Katie.
Got Katie with that one.
Katie, I know where her brain went. That's what's so wrong. Like, I saw it happen. That was awesome. Go ahead, Will.
Be careful. HR's not here.
That's it, Will. Go ahead.
But we talked about, what did we talk about? Well, let's go backwards before we go forwards.
Oh, okay.
So we kind of were all on the same page about talking about how this team's still, you know, trying to develop an identity, still trying to develop a culture, regardless of, you know, whether you're reshaping, rebuilding, whatever it is, you still have to play with a certain level of effort.
Yes.
You still have to play with a certain attitude. And you know coming in, I mean, you have to know this because when I was doing NBC Sports Chicago last year, we were talking about this. And the year before, we were talking about this. When you talk about playing the Bulls, they don't put the fear of God into anybody.
Yeah.
Okay?
D. Lasso in the comments just now. Utah wasn't afraid. They punked the Bulls.
Yeah.
He's correct.
And let's be honest here. We talked about this back in the Memphis game, right? Because we talked about how Zach LaVine addressed in his post-game press conference. He said, Memphis came out and smacked us in the mouth, but they responded. Tonight, it wasn't so much about getting smacked in the mouth. It was not really doing anything, in my opinion, to send a message to Utah that not in our house. And we talked about this when I got back, that what epitomizes what other teams do compared to what the Bulls do. The Bulls threw over the top. It looked like that THT had a wide open layup, but before he could get to the rim, 3 Utah defenders converged on him, not only blocked the shot, but made sure they bodied him and knocked him to the ground. And said, okay, this is your house, but not in our paint.
Right.
If you're going to get that, you're going to go the free throw line. We're going to make you earn it. We're not going to give it up. And when was the last time we could honestly say we saw that type of play or that type of aggression from this Bulls, not even this Bulls team, but from this Bulls organization over the last, let's say, 3 years?
When's the last time Joe Keem laced him up?
Some people were like, well, you know, that's just dirty pool. No, it was a good hard foul.
Yeah.
It was sending a message that just, okay, if you guys beat the defense, what you did, congratulations, but we're just not going to stop and give you a layup.
Yeah.
We're going to send you to the free throw line and make you earn it. And it gets a little mind-boggling that part of the culture or the identity or the attitude hasn't really changed yet. I've said this a lot, and this is more of a respectful comment, quite honestly. These are a really good group of guys, and they really do get along. But we keep saying, okay, where's the disruptor? The guy that's willing to step on guys' toes, put a finger in their face, call guys out, regardless of, you know, them feeling like they hurt somebody's feelings and not really caring what their teammates think of them, but it's more about the respect game. You can get mad at me all you want, but I'm just talking the truth here. And I'll also point the thumb at myself when I make the same mistakes. But guys, regardless of who was out there, I thought when you looked at, it was ready for the jump ball, and you looked at those two teams and you're like, okay, the Bulls are still better on paper, but they didn't play up to their level of play, nor did they play to a specific type of identity, or attitude.
Agree. And even on that foul on THT, they had another one with Coby White where he tried to come to the paint and they put him right on the floor.
Coby took a couple hard fouls tonight.
Yeah, man. They weren't afraid to be physical with them. And even when the Bulls, I can't remember the play that happened, but they had scored and the coach felt it was scored too easily. He calls the timeout. He's in the middle of the floor.
It was the IO putback in that third quarter run. Yeah.
Yelling, snapping on them, man. What are you doing? Yeah, man, they wanted it more. And it was great to see.
Exactly like you're saying. Yeah, we're 0-6, but that's unacceptable.
Yeah, I like seeing stuff like that.
And that kind of goes full circle to what we were talking about in the pregame about how that one time on the team I was on that was 20-62,
yes.
Pop came in postgame and went berserk, turned the table over, was throwing stuff, cussing, just yelling, just talking about how if things don't change. I mean, he was literally like, you won't be here and you won't be here. And I mean, that was the one thing I loved about Pop. You knew exactly where you stood at all times, but you also knew that he was telling you this to try to help you.
Right.
It wasn't passive aggressive. It was just like, I'm telling you now, either you got to change something or there's the door. It's so I love that about him. I never questioned where I stood, and I never questioned that he cared about me not only as a player but a person first.
But you also never had to question your attitude either, though, Will.
No.
You know how you approach the game.
Because if you wanted to play, things had to change. And that's, he always said, this is why we traded for you, because we thought that you could bring a certain edge to this team.
Yeah.
And I was always very proud of that because he constantly told me that. And, I was very proud of that. And a lot of that had to do with what I learned in Chicago.
Yeah.
From Bill Cartwright, from John Paxson, from, the guys that I played with that kind of, obviously MJ.
Yeah.
But the guys that looked after me. And, it's just, this team is talented. We know that. The question is that when is their attitude going to match their talent?
Yeah. And that to me always says defense. Attitude, defense. Because we talked when we knew what this roster was about, hey, the Bulls are probably going to be able to score 120 points a night if this offense is what we think it can be, and also show that they're capable of scoring 120 and losing on a regular basis.
Yeah.
The Bulls, to their credit, coming into tonight's game, were a respectable 10th in defensive rating. 110.4. But tonight, 135 surrendered to the league's worst offense. They had Coby got off to a slow start. He only had 5 points at halftime, but Vooch and Io paced them. I think Vooch had 15, Io 12 at half, fairly efficiently. Io very efficiently. He was doing his best Vooch impression for Friday night. Didn't miss.
Yeah.
And then Coby goes off in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Scores 15.
Yeah.
Brings the Bulls back. Tie the game twice. They're down one bucket going into the fourth against this Jazz team. They get 28, 25, and 23 from 3 of their 5 starters. And they give up 135 and lose. Yeah. I think Bulls fans need to get ready for plenty of games like that this season.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's going to happen that way. Their defense is not going to be in the middle like that. I think it's going to fall. I mean, they're going to run with pace. Again, fun bad, guys. This is what it's going to be. The offense is going to be fun. The defense is going to be bad. It's peanut butter. It's jelly. It's what it is, man.
Yeah, but what kind of jelly?
Oh, I only do strawberry preserves on mine, sir.
That's it?
Yeah, grape jelly is what I grew up with. Strawberry preserves is what I graduated to.
Oh, well, excuse me.
Taste buds
graduated.
Circulated.
Correct. They grew. Shout out to my dad for schooling me.
I go with grape.
Yeah.
Strawberry is when I don't have any grape.
Oh, all right.
You're both wrong.
And preserves. Excuse me.
You're right, Will Perdue.
Yeah.
Schmuckers. You better get on.
There's an H in there?
Yes, it is. Schmuckers.
Is that also right next to your Grey Poupon?
Oh.
I mean,
only on Wednesday.
If you don't have spicy mustard in your fridge, what are you doing with your life?
What are you putting on?
All right, so what do you got?
Blackberry jam.
Ooh,
that's the answer.
he's cheating though, because he's getting his from a farm. Like, so he's cheating.
And do I bring you that delicious
You
blackberry
do, and I have it in my fridge, and it's amazing. Yes.
I got to get you a jar next time I go to Minnesota.
Oh, is that when
Julia.
Is that when he goes to the summer cottage?
Yes. Peck Manor is what we call it.
Peck Manor.
I hate that he calls
He can't stand it. Yes.
We got to take our first break here on CHGO Bulls postgame. Stick around. Plenty more to get to breaking down tonight's loss of the Jazz.
Skibidi bap bow.
Jazz.
Jazz.
Oh, that jazz.
Jazz.
Will Perdue, what time is it?
Game time.
Jazz time.
Well, time. Skibidi bow. Game time picks. She learned hers. No, what? Oh, excuse me. Oh, it's prize pick. I'm game time. It's prize picks?
No, Dave's good.
Yeah, okay.
Dave's good.
All right, just making sure. All right. Game time.
Let's get on the same page, people.
Here it is. Game time makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play easier than ever with the Game Time picks. Will Perdue. It filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. That curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. Whatever you want to see, Game Time picks is the way to be. All-in pricing, lowest price guarantee, and of course, Matt and Big Dave favorite, the views from your seat. Need to see where I'm at. When I saw Steve 1, I was like, no, where am I sitting? Oh, I sat on 1 with my, with the room, stretching my leg out. It was a wonderful time, man. Shout out Steve Wonder. Yes, and the Game Time ticket coverage, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So take that guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use that code CHGO. Get yourself $20 off your first purchase.
Terms apply. Terms apply.
Oh, that's CHGO. Get yourself $20 off your first purchase. Yeah, he was waiting on you, Will Perdue. Download Game Time.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't paying attention.
Oh, because Katie, what time is it?
Game time hoop.
Mm-hmm.
Game time. Who?
Done. Scat it out.
Oh, my goodness. Today's show also brought to you by Empire.
Oh.
No good of the night, but that doesn't mean we can't give them some love.
It's true.
With Empire today, you get shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quicker professional installation, and a low price guarantee. Empire is the very best place to get new flooring, so of course they have copycats. But Empire can't be beaten on quality, service, speed. So competitors just advertise low pricing on low quality products that are so low quality, Empire won't even bother to carry them in their inventory. They wouldn't put them in their home. They're not going to put them in yours.
No.
Empire's philosophy is help you find what you need, not overwhelm you with thousands of bad choices and substitutes. What they leave out of their selection, just as important as what they put into it. You got to check out their virtual floor designer, a great way to see how new floors will look in any space. It's easy. Just snap a picture, instantly see how new floors look in your room with your decor, your furniture, all of that stuff.
All of it.
They also service their own warranties at Empire. If any issue does arise, just call Empire. They service all warranties themselves, no tracking down manufacturer or third-party phone numbers. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 discount when they use promo code CHGO. Restrictions apply. See EmpireToday.com/CHGO for details. Yes. Carrying on, CHGO Bulls post-game. Shout out to Mark Warren, who said, you guys are a hoot. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for tuning in.
Appreciate that.
Brian, in the comments, Brian Ramos. Bulls choked. They'll have the worst record in the league. It's coming. Well, we just saw the team that very well could have the worst record in the league. They beat the Bulls tonight, but the Jazz are 1-6 now.
Yeah.
The Bulls are 3-4.
Yeah.
The East is weirdly upside down in some ways.
Yeah. Oh, the upside down is going on, sir.
Did the Bucks get that win tonight, though? I think.
Did the Bucks win?
I think Dame did Dame time things, but
Dame time? I know the Knicks lost, which always makes me smile.
Dave's always looking for those Knicks.
I saw it on Knicks. Actually, no, Cleveland won.
Cleveland did win.
Cleveland won by 2.
Still undefeated.
116, 114. The Bucks are 1-6. Drink that in. Yeah. Drink that one up right there.
That is weird.
That is very weird, man.
Guys, can we talk for a second before we move on to the suckage? I mean, we covered it. The Bulls defense bad. It's gonna be a thing. shout out to Ayo.
Okay.
Getting thrown into the starting lineup tonight in place of Zach LaVine, who's a late scratch with a adductor strain that he suffered in that game against Brooklyn on Friday.
Yeah.
Like, Ayo, regardless of role, always ready, always willing, gets a start tonight with no Zach.
Yeah.
And it's like, here, you need 25 points? Here's 25 points.
Yes. He was amazing. 25 points and the 5 rebounds and the 5 assists.
And as Will was talking about earlier, they're like, hey, this is our home court. Is anyone going to put up a fight? A few times tonight, it was like Ayo was the one who was like, guys, can we take control of this game right now?
Yeah.
Let me give you a quick transition bucket. Let me make a play on defense. Something. Ayo always seems to be that guy.
We say it all the time. He's the one player that you just really don't worry about. You don't concern yourself with Ayo Dosunmu. You're just like, oh, yeah, wherever we're going to throw him, he's going to have success. Tonight, they put him at the 3. Success is what you got back. Didn't hit one 3-point shot, but he went to the line 7 times. Also, Taylor Horton-Tucker went to the line 7 times also. Just want to point that out.
Woo!
But 7-7 from the free throw line, man. I mean, he just does everything you need, and he did it outside. He did it inside. I love the Ayo Dosunmu fast break. Anytime he's in transition, it's 2 points. That's what's going to happen. So Ayo Dosunmu is just a guy that is just super dependable for this team. You know what you're going to get out of him every single time. Doesn't matter the position that you put him at. He knows how to play that position. So, Will, his game just, and you know this, his game just translate every single position that you put him in. Point guard, he knows to be a little more of a facilitator. He's still aggressive, but he knows to be a little more facilitator. Shooting guard, his 3-point shot attempts will go up a little bit more, and he'll try to create a little bit more for himself. Playing the 3, you see him run the floor more. You see him spacing it more and things like that. Because that pass, when that transition bucket they had with him and Giddey running, Giddey looked over like, oh, damn. like, yo, you with me? Oh, this is easy. Here's a bounce pass, Ayo Dosunmu. Thank you very much, Josh Giddey. Like your hair. Well, thank you. I like yours too. And then he laid it in. So it was awesome to sit there and watch that. And Ayo just makes you feel like good, man, watching basketball, because it's good basketball that you're sitting there watching when you watch Dosunmu play.
I mean, he's a Swiss Army knife.
Yes.
It's, Billy is like, hey, I hate to do this, but I need you to play this position tonight because of an injury. Or I need you to slide over and play undersized against so-and-so.
Yeah.
Doesn't back down to any challenge. And it's one of those things. He's accountable and he's reliable. And as you said, you'll never question his effort, regardless of the odds that are stacked up against him when he plays. And these are the guys on really good teams that make the difference between winning and losing a game. Somebody might have had 30, somebody had 20 points, but he would always be the guy, or will be the guy, that makes the big stop or plays tough defense on an opponent's leading scorer. But yet you look in the stat line, even though tonight he had a hell of a game, 25, 5, and 5.
Yes, sir.
Right? With only 1 turnover. But he just kind of quietly goes about his business. You don't see him ever puffing his chest, or he's just, I think that he's very humble. That says a lot for how he was raised. But, and I always have a lot of respect for players, like when we do events, that will go out of their way to stop by and say hello. I always does that. It just kind of comes over and says, hey, just want to stop and say, hey, thanks for coming by, being part of this or whatever. And I always just say to him, man, it's a joy to watch you play.
Yeah.
And, I'm glad. I'm disappointed, but I'm glad he couldn't work something out with another team and he came back to Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what you're seeing is the Bulls got to steal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Truly. Somebody in the comments was just referring to that, talking about the Bulls needing to pay Ayo when it's his turn. Kimberly, we better pay Ayo when it is his turn. So he is on year two of that 3-year deal, much like Coby White is. And we've had conversations about that of like, do you pay these guys to stick around? What is the status of this reshaped roster?
Yeah.
Where are they competitively speaking? And how does that affect what they do with Ayo? But Julia saying Ayo is that guy. Used to call him DeMar down. D-Law so saying Ayo Chicago's very own. Eco being saying we need consistent Ayo. I mean, I think Ayo's pretty darn consistent. Rob saying Io repaired his field goal well, but the three-pointer is way down. Io, for reference, is shooting just oh my God, I didn't know it was that bad. 17.9%.
Who?
Io. Behind the arc, and that's through 6 games. That's not counting tonight.
Yo, that was awesome.
Averaging 4.7 attempts per game. He is shooting 18%.
Yeah.
He shot 40% last season.
He did.
On four attempts.
And it's still good.
Whew.
You know what I mean? Like certain players, like if their shot is going that bad, their entire game is going that bad.
Yeah.
Not with Io. Like if that's going bad, fine. He was like, I will cut to the bucket. This is why you see him going to the bucket more, and I think getting to the free throw line more, because he realizes my shot isn't working. You know what? Here's a pump fake. I'm gonna go to the lane, and he's always hitting on the right side. He knows that angle, how to take that on the right side, hit that off the backboard. You saw him just standing on that baseline on that right side as well, shooting little floaters. When Josh Giddey would find him inside, he would throw up a little floater to try to get that in the bucket too. But yeah, man, he's going to be a guy you can put it in pen that is definitely 10. Ooh, that rhyme. And that's a really cool thing, you know, to have that on your squad, Will Perdue.
Yeah, but you know what that is?
Tell me.
Mental toughness.
Yeah. This is facts.
I mean, he knows exactly what he's shooting from behind the arc.
Yeah.
And he addresses it, but yet he doesn't let that, as you talked about, affect other parts of his game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he knows that will come around.
Yeah.
But until then, I will have a positive impact on this game in another way.
Yeah. It's kind of like heightening your senses. Like when you lose one and the others kind of get more heightened. Like I lose my 3, we'll bet transition buckets all day long. Okay, that's not working. Okay, I'm going to go inside and I'm going to get fouled. Okay, that's not working. Well, guess what? I'm about to play this defense on you and lock you up. Like he's going to affect the game in some kind of way, man. And you love that.
Speaking of the Bulls struggling on defense, optimistic Bulls fan, why not match Jalen Smith up more with John Collins? That was ridiculous. You mentioned Collins briefly, Dave.
Killer.
31 minutes off the bench. He finished with 28 on 12 of 17. Oh, and by the way, grabbed 13 rebounds, dished 5 assists.
Yeah.
I mean,
was this a send a message, I'm going to bring you off the bench game?
Maybe? You think so? Because, wow.
A message received.
I mean, they started Filipowski.
Yeah, they did.
You start Filipowski over John freaking Collins?
Yeah.
I know the guy had his ups and downs in Atlanta, but, like, Collins is a player.
Yeah, man.
And Filipowski is a rookie.
Yeah. No, completely agree with that. And of course, the Collins dunk.
Whoo!
On Coby White.
Coby White's going to have some nightmares.
Damn. That was just wrong, man.
Hire a decorator to come in here quick.
That's a human being, right? Damn. Because, man, dude, like, yeah, but Collins, I mean, everywhere on the floor, he was performing. And he was getting into it with the players as well. Got into it with Julian Phillips a little bit, got tangled up. Got into it with Dalen Terry a little bit, got tangled up. He got into it with himself. We saw, saw him yelling. He was like, he's not even talking to anybody. He's yelling at himself. Like, that's
who you talking to?
Who you talking to? who you talking to? Like, it's just wild when you see a guy that talented and that skilled, and you're like, man, why isn't he on another kind of level? And it's always something mental or that kind of hurdle that's happening, you know what I mean, with that kind of player. But that's why I was giving credit to the Utah coach for kind of reining him in really in his game.
Right.
Because you saw him allowing him to handle the ball a little more, take a little more mid-range shots, which is something you don't ever see in the NBA nowadays anymore. But he was taking those mid-range buckets, man, and hitting those shots, but then also getting to the bucket and using that athleticism to score too.
Well, I think what we need to mention is that this is one of the things you got to be careful of, because you can play this pace, but it requires superior conditioning and mental toughness. But when you play this pace, you still have to play defense. And you've heard Coby address it. You've heard some other players address it about just how they need to be in better shape. And they'll get there. But you can't just pick and choose, especially in this league when you want to play defense, because regardless of what a team's record is, there's just too many talented guys in this league that if you don't want to play defense, they're gonna pick you apart. They're gonna make you look bad.
Yeah.
And if you don't come out with a specific attitude about how you want to play, regardless of your opponent, then as you talk about, there's going to be a lot of games like this. Listen, we talk about the goal of this team this year is to you're reshaping, you're setting yourself up for the draft. But even though that's the case, as I kept, talking about with the Pop thing, you still want to play with a certain type of attitude, a certain swagger, a certain level of trust, because you're still trying to accomplish and develop, not only the culture and not only the attitude, but accountability.
Yeah. That's important.
I mean, yeah. Wow. Because Billy said in one of those all access training camp videos, I don't want to just be a well-conditioned team. I'm challenging you guys to be the best conditioned team in the NBA.
Yeah.
And that's not just about playing a faster pace of offense.
Yeah.
That's about doing that. And as you were just saying, Will, being able to also play defense.
Got to do both.
Tonight they failed to do both.
Yeah.
We got to take a quick break again. When we come back, Will the Goat Gottlieb will join us live from the United Center to get his thoughts and insight from his stuff at the UC. The Goat Call. Tonight's postgame brought to you by Coors Light, who are proud sponsors of WishFest, Chicago's concert for a cause. WishFest is back at the Salt Shed this Saturday, November 9th. A one-night indoor music festival uplifting families battling cancer across Chicago and the Midwest. Featuring a unique lineup of music and atmosphere unlike any other, with crowd favorites like OAR, I've heard of them, Grammy-nominated superstar Mike Posner, sure, indie folk sensation Will Dorado, okay, he seems cool, they seem cool, folk pop up and folk pop, oh, that's a genre, folk pop up and comer Hans Williams.
Absolutely.
Related to John? Composer?
Yeah.
A big party for only $150. Check out this deal. All-inclusive experience with 6+ hours. All you can drink. Wow. Love that. Food vendors, a truly special atmosphere, all-night music, every dollar benefiting an amazing cause. All WishFest proceeds benefit Wish Forever's mission of uplifting families battling cancer, helping bring support to more than 600 families facing cancer with financial gifts totaling over $3 million. You can find tickets and more information at WishFest. That's WEISHFEST.com/tickets. Shout out Coors Light.
Shout out Coors Light. Matt, I wanted to have this discussion with you, but you weren't around.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about ComEd a little bit, man.
Oh, okay.
Because ComEd, I don't know if you knew this, but ComEd can help businesses save money by becoming more energy efficient.
Is that true, Dave? I didn't know ComEd did that.
Oh, man, it is very true. The energy efficiency program can help find up to 35% in energy savings, man.
35%. That's wild. So let me ask you, Big Dave.
Sure.
What does a business have to do?
Oh, my God. I'm so glad you asked me that, Matt. That's amazing. Just sign up for a free facility assessment at ComEd.com/biz. B-I-Z.
Just that's it? Sign up for a free facility. What? That's so easy. Why aren't more businesses doing this, Dave? I have to know.
I've been asking myself this. I mean, maybe they forgot the website, man.
How could you forget the website? ComEd.com/biz. ComEd.com/biz. ComEd.com/biz.
I think that should do it, man.
ComEd.com/biz.
Yes. Terms and conditions apply. Offers are subject to change. Actual savings will vary by customers' energy usage and rates. The ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is funded in compliance with state law.
In compliance with state law. Very important.
Very. Katie is silly. It's, matter of fact, the only one who hasn't heard of Mike.
I don't know who he is.
I'm about to say.
Have you never heard I took a pill in Ibiza?
I took a pill and a visa?
In Ibiza.
Oh, in Ibiza?
That's like you just
Matt.
made that up.
Yeah, no, I've never heard I took a pill in Ibiza.
All right, I'm gonna play you some music tomorrow.
He won't listen.
Is this the music of the youths?
I mean,
Utes.
I don't know if you can consider me like a youth, but maybe.
How old are you?
You don't ask that question.
Your face.
What gen are you? Are you a millennial? Are you Gen Z? Are you whatever's after Gen Z?
I'm 27.
Oh yeah, you're a child.
Thank you. I tell her that all the time. You are a child. All the time I say this. Thank you, sir.
But is she a child or a petulant child?
Well, no, there's nothing petulant that I've
Will.
noticed.
Thank you.
I mean,
Carlos, Matt, it's a trap. Don't do it.
I mean,
man. It's a trap.
Sometimes falling into traps is fun.
It is. Honestly, it really is. This is what me and Matt share a brain.
I need to
All right,
know
fine, let's fall into the trap.
what kind of pill was taken in Ibiza.
That's true.
Is this like are we talking party drugs? Is this a rave? What kind of music are we talking about here?
He's such a grown up.
I have a feeling it wasn't like Lexapro or something. You know, like,
I mean, you
I don't
know.
think that's what they were. It wasn't an antacid.
Or is this like a Morpheus red pill, blue pill kind of situation?
Advil? I don't know.
Advil PM?
Let's ask the
Oh,
goat.
jeez.
Maybe the goat
Tums?
knows.
These are the
Some
kind of pills
Tums?
I take. 10 years your senior, Katie.
Oh, is the
Sometimes
goat?
you just need some Tums.
I want the goat.
Let's
No
go to the goat.
Okay.
Goat,
She said no.
Goat's going to circle back.
He's going to circle back, bring it on back.
I don't
Okay.
know, have a quick chat with Sam Smith or something.
I mean, that's called a flex. That's what that is around.
So we
these
can
parts.
keep breaking down tonight's game until he does join us.
Sure.
Gentlemen, when you look at this schedule ahead, you're like, wow, we actually just found a way to lose to the Jazz. That's impressive. And you're like, okay, so you're 3-4 now. You got 2 teams that were in the conference finals out west last year, back to back.
Yeah.
At Dallas, home against the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Oof.
Then you got Atlanta, winnable game. They are 3-5 after tonight's action.
Sure.
Then you got to play the Cavs twice with the Knicks sandwiched in there.
Yeah. I mean, well.
And who knows how many of those games you're going to be missing Zach LaVine.
True.
Lonzo Ball will be out for at least the next couple of those.
Excellent point.
This for those of you out there on hashtag, take Commander Watch. Bulls could be stacking some L's here coming up.
Yeah, man. Like it's going to get really, really
If
tough.
they play defense the way they played tonight.
Oh,
that's a whole string of L's.
Especially if they play defense. Their only weapon, I shouldn't say only, but one of the weapons they're saving grace is the 3-point ball. That's what's been working for them all season long. It's good to see. It's something we definitely wanted to see these past couple years, is their 3-point shot get better. Their 3-point profile in general get better. Tonight, what were they, 14 of 37 from the 3-point line, shooting 37% from them. I like the fact. Yeah, but I like the fact that this isn't the norm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is not the normal pace for the Chicago Bulls. What's wrong, Will? You look so confused, man.
No, I'm just listening.
Oh, okay.
Continue.
That's how you listen to me? Is that face?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair.
I'm making sure it registers.
That's fair. Okay. All right. But yeah, that's exactly what they were shooting out there, I should say. But yeah, man, I like how Coby White, the numbers, they talked about that. They broke his numbers by points down from the first quarter to the fourth quarter.
Oh, yeah.
The third quarter is the quarter that was his quarter. We know him as that second half guy, in general, that fourth quarter guy. But it's been that third quarter for him that he has really just, come to life. And as you mentioned, Matt, dropping 15 points in that third quarter. He was 6 of 9 from the 3-point line. So he had it going for sure. But a lot of guys just didn't have it with him. Even though Patrick Williams took 6 threes, you heard what I said. He took 6 threes. And he hit 3 of them. And he looked good offensively out there, but I don't want to read the rest of his stats. But I like the fact that he was out there, scoring buckets from the 3-point line. But that will be their determining factor of if they're going to be in these games or if they're not going to be in these games. Because those attempts against those teams are going to have to go up. You're not going to get away with 37 shots against a team like Dallas, who will shoot way more threes than that. And then you're not going to get away with it against Minnesota, who also will shoot more threes than that. You won't get away with it against the Knicks, who won't allow you to shoot those kind of threes like that. So, yeah, they're going to have to continue that pace, try to outrun these teams as they've been doing, tire them out. We did see the Texas Ranger, sucking wind a lot out there. Didn't seem to stop them anything, but nothing stops Chuck Norris, so of course not. So, yeah, they're going to have to do that. I think the 3-point shot is going to be their best way to stay in these games and compete with these really good teams.
Yes, but as we talked about in the pregame show, you still have to play with some discipline in the sense that, because that's what I felt like created that issue in the second half against the Nets.
Yeah.
Where they were 16 of 46.
Yes.
Because of the fact I just thought that the shot quality went way down. It seemed like they were more concerned about taking the first open shot instead of making the quick pass and making the defense move. You got down the floor quickly, but you really didn't put a lot of pressure on the defense. You kind of just had a shot. You took it. You obviously didn't hit it. You weren't really getting to the free throw line. So it was just, listen, I know this team is trying to figure this out and put things together.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I've seen some people as Katie's been scrolling about, I think it was Rob Antol, about, you know, Vooch. Vooch played well.
He did.
But these guys just, you can't, when you're not playing defense, you can't, and you allow your opponent to shoot 54%.
Mm-hmm.
You doesn't matter how many points you score, your opponent's going to score more than you. And I think that's what you saw tonight, you know. But I know a lot of people are like, hey, what's the big deal? You know, you want to lose games. That is true. But there's a certain way to lose it and still have confidence and, you know, respect for how they're playing.
Yeah.
And I was just disappointed when I was at the UC watching the game, just, you know, a little bit in the body language and about how, you know, I know you're losing, but how much fun Utah was having, how they just took it to the Bulls from, I mean, they scored 30-plus points in every freaking quarter. 30, 32, 33, 40.
Ooh. Wow. Took it to him, man.
And you keep asking yourself, okay, at some point now, the Bulls are going to bow their back, start making some stops, and really put themselves in a position to succeed. You know, they tied the game, could never get – did they ever lead in this game?
They, I believe, were up 8-7 early in the first, and then came back and tied it 2 different times late in the third. Never took the lead back.
In the 80s, when it was down in the 80s. And then, but I think that was in the third period.
Yes.
Yep.
But now, I'm interested already. You're talking about the teams coming up. What did we talk about in the pregame about how this Bulls team allows their opponent to set the bar?
Yes.
And then they play to it.
Yeah.
So I fully believe that this Bull team is going to play very well on Wednesday against Dallas.
Okay.
Of course, because that would make all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
Let's get the perspective of our own Will the Goat Gottlieb on tonight's game. Katie, let's do it.
Wow. Wow.
Katie?
Go.
Give me the bat.
That's where he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Joining us on that Go Talk Hotline, skewing a bat bow, is our one and only Will the Goat Gottlieb. Will_Gottlieb on Twitter. Read his stuff, allchgo.com. Goat, how about that Bulls defense tonight, buddy?
Not great. Not great at all. You know, I think the big number that I'm looking at in a lot of these games is points at the paint and points allowed at the rim. And last time I looked, I think it was before the last game, so before the Nets game, they were worst in the league at allowing points at the rim. And tonight, 60 points in the paint, I believe 24 of 36 at the rim for the Jazz. And it was just like a lot of uncontested drives. There was not a lot of resistance. And when you're putting a team in that situation, that means you're giving up a bunch of free throws at the rim. You're giving up a bunch of spray opportunities for three-point shooters and offensive rebounds. And those are the things that the Bulls have to win. Those are battles they have to win every night if they want to be competitive. So, yeah, I think that is a big deal in terms of their like outlook moving forward. I don't really think that there's an answer. There's not somebody that they can turn to and say, Alex Caruso, can you please solve our perimeter defense problems? He's not there anymore. And so they're playing a lot more zone. They were doing that a lot this year. Billy Donovan was saying there would be times where they were going to zone and two people would be still in man and they wouldn't understand the coverage or get that part of it right. And so I think there just needs to be a lot cleaned up on that end and a lot more attention to detail. And it's tough when you don't have a guy that you can really build a system around on either end of the court. So I think that's a mental challenge for these guys too. But to me, it's going to be very hard to win games if you're just giving up uncontested layups, free throws, corner threes, all that. I mean, it's just very hard to win games that way.
Will, two questions for you. One, can you talk about the game that Walker Kessler, Texas Ranger, had? Because I thought that in that first half, he was the best player on the floor. And second question, also talk about the game that Ayo Dosunmu had, because even though Coby had more points and a great stat line, 28, 4, and 6, and 2 steals, I thought it was just truly impressive with how Ayo Dosunmu played, coming in and playing the three and just always being, as Will states, that Swiss Army knife guy.
Well, I think the thing about Ayo was the pressure that he was putting on the Jazz's defense in transition. He had 7 free throw attempts, which you love to see. That's an area where like the Bulls are really going to struggle this year without DeMar, and so they need guys to generate easy points in that way. I think Coby did a good job of that. Obviously, Zach can do it. Vooch has been better this year in that regard, but you need everybody to chip in. And so I thought Ayo did a really great job of that. He's constantly putting pressure on the rim. He's constantly making defenses like, Colin Sexton would like hit a tough step back jumper and like start flexing and like yelling at the bench. And all of a sudden I would be behind the play and he'd get a layup on the other end. And, that's the kind of thing where the Bulls can kind of build some momentum in games, even if their defense isn't great, because they're running on makes. And that's a really hard thing to do. So Ayo, I think, has been really a leader in the clubhouse in that category. As far as Walker Kessler, I mean, yeah, he's just so dominating in the paint. They're dropping him really far back and just forcing you to attack him. And it's tough to do because he's so big, so long, incredible shot blocking timing wise. And then, he had a ton of offensive rebound putbacks. He's got really soft touch around the rim. So he was just dominant down there. And they're playing with 2 bigs for the most part. So that was one of the things that Billy said after the game, was just that they were so physically overwhelmed by this team because of Walker Kessler. And John Collins played fantastic. He was really dominating Patrick Williams, I thought. Really not a great game for Patrick defensively. He fouled out and just, was getting killed by Collins. So that's an area where like the Bulls are going to be at a disadvantage in a lot of these games because they just don't have a lot of size up front. And so they have to figure out ways to combat that. And I think they've tried some things, going to zone, switching off things, running, all sorts of, different ways that they can try to combat that. But at the end of the day, if they are just going to be way smaller, it's just going to be tough. And they have the versatility to switch and try some zone and do some things and shoot and run. That's great. But if other teams are just still beating you up on the glass, it's just a tough way to live.
Hey, Will, I was curious what you saw from the Bulls from a rebounding standpoint. Going in tonight, they were first in rebounds a game at a little over 50.
Crazy.
Tonight, they just got hammered on the boards, 49-36.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they were just overwhelmed physically by this Jazz team. They were just bigger and more aggressive at the rim. Vooch was saying that even if they did have a good original defensive stand, they weren't always grabbing the rebound. The Jazz were getting in there and getting second chance points, and that's a huge problem. The margin, we've talked so much over the years about like the Bulls' margin for victory. And in the past, it was, well, if they're not going to shoot threes, then they have to win the free throw battle. They have to win the effective field goal. They cannot turn the ball over. They have to get offensive rebounds and win the possession battle. And now it's kind of a different formula because they are shooting so many threes. But that doesn't mean that all of a sudden you start to give up a bunch of offensive rebounds and now that's all fine. Like they still have to, secure those. And Vooch does a really good job, but it's got to be a team effort, especially from, like I said, a much smaller wing group.
But Will, what do you attribute that to? Because they watch film, they have scouting reports, they know exactly what to expect before the game starts. I mean, I understand you could make the statement that they just got physically overwhelmed, but they knew what was coming. They knew the train was coming down the track. So you got to do something about it. What was that addressed with Billy, or what do you attribute that to?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like I said, they understand that that is a disadvantage of theirs and that they're going to have to be better at that at times. I think, one of the things that I mentioned was just the offensive rebounding. Like when they are making good defensive plays, they have to, at the end of it, secure the rebound. And I think it's a full team effort. Like the guards have to gain rebound. Obviously, Vooch is down there doing his job as best he can. But I think at the end of the day, Will, it's like, there are ways that you can offset or combat some of these like mathematical questions that go into every game with the 3-point line and the free throws and things like that. But like at the end of the day, if your opponent is just bigger and stronger and more athletic than you, there's not much you can do about that. I think you can scheme it as best you can, but I think that's like a roster flaw in this group. And, we talk a lot about Patrick Williams rebounding. Like that is one of the guys that has to be better at that. He had 2 rebounds tonight and he fouled out. So like he needs to be better in that area, but I do believe that it is a full team effort on that front. And Coby has been a very good guard rebounder. Zach has been rebounding the ball really well this year. He obviously wasn't there to help out. So it's just, I think, just top to bottom, an issue that they need to be better at. And, I don't know that there's a real simple solution because of the physical disadvantage that this roster is under right now.
Goat, Bulls fans had a little panic when they heard about Modest going down to Windy City, but he was recalled like less than 24 hours later. I think he went down and got one practice in or a scrimmage. He gets back in after being a DNP, but again, just like 4 minutes and change tonight. Billy, like 9.5 deep rotation. Kimberly and others in the comments talking about it. What do you make of this, like, Modest is getting minutes but not really situation that we're in right now?
I think they're trying to give him some minutes, but one thing Billy said is that like he's got to do more to earn more minutes when he is out there. They're giving him an opportunity with kind of a blank canvas to go out and play, and it's his job with those 4 minutes, if that's all it is, to go and earn a second 4-minute stint. And I think this says a lot about what the Bulls are obviously trying to do with him and with this team in general this year. They clearly are trying to be as competitive as possible. And we could talk about like what's best for the organization long term and the draft pick and all this stuff. Like if they wanted to be as bad as possible, Miles would be playing a lot more because he's just not ready to come out there and compete at a high level right now. And they obviously, Billy said it the other day before maybe the Magic game, like the organization is fully committed to his development. And I think this is just the way that they see this going in terms of what can we do to put him in the best position to succeed. I think he's obviously going to be getting practice reps with the Bulls. I think they're going to be sending him to and from Windy City to get practice reps or even game reps with them. And then he's going to have at some point down the line, maybe a little bit more opportunity than he's getting. But I think this says more about like the direction that the Bulls kind of see themselves going here as a group, and two, how they view player development. They're not going to throw him out there and let him fail over and over and over again, because I think they're worried about that affecting his confidence. And we know that's his biggest strength. So why put him in a position to, potentially be in a spot where he loses confidence in himself? Because you don't want that to happen. So I think the opportunity to go down there, dominate some of the other G League players in scrimmages or games, regain that confidence, understand that he is where he's supposed to be, but that it's going to take a little bit more work. And, this is my perspective on how I think the Bulls are viewing this, not necessarily how I would approach it myself. But I do think that they are doing this because of what they believe is right for his development. They're not doing this because it's a punishment, and he's not taking it that way. He knows, and he wants opportunities with the ball in his hands too. So he knows this is what's best for him. And I think that if he were ready to go out there and contribute and be an impact player at the NBA level, he'd be out there. But the reality is that he's not. And I don't think they're going to put him in a situation to fail and potentially lose confidence that way.
Before we let you go, two very important details. One, is that a fresh coif that I'm noticing on the top of your head?
It's a fresh coif, yes. You missed it when you were on vacation.
Correct. Correct.
Well, it looks great. And speaking of looking great, for those who aren't on Twitter, you need to tell Bulls Nation who you ran into at the Madhouse on Madison tonight.
Our old friend Chatty Spathis hit me up, said he was in section 121.
Flex.
Came down to see him at halftime. It was great to see him. He missed you guys. He gave his best, but he seems like he's doing great. And obviously told him how much we missed him and love him. But it was great to catch up, and hopefully I'll see him more. It's nice that being at these games, like there's always friends or people like Joey swinging by Bulls games and want to say hi. So it's always great to see him.
Troll Joe just hanging out in the 100 level of a Bulls game. Can't swing by the office. Can't swing by the studio to say hi and give some hugs to his old pals who he abandoned.
He's over it.
It's fine. It's fine,
This
Troll
is exactly,
Joe. It's fine.
exactly the reaction.
Katie is great, and we don't need you. We don't miss you. I'm not heartbroken and hurt at all, Joey. I hope you had a great time at the Bulls game, Joey.
Damn.
It's exactly the reaction I told him you were going to have.
Yeah. Wait, go ahead, Will.
No, I was just on a lighter subject. It seems like every time I see the GOAT, he's wearing plaid. What do they call that? Like lumberjack sexual, or what is that?
What?
Are you thinking of the term metrosexual?
No, it's he's
like the brawny towel guy. Is that what you're looking at? Okay, all right. Paul Bunyan-esque.
Or The urban lumberjack, is that a thing?
It will be now.
It's something lumberjack. I just,
Right.
he's always wearing plaid.
Lumber section.
The man looks good
I
in
do
plaid.
like plaid.
Oh, I don't. I think he looks great in plaid.
Mhm.
He it fits him well.
That's why it was a compliment Will was giving.
I was trying to. Yeah.
That's exactly what he was doing.
And I took it as such.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Go.
sir.
We appreciate the insider info, buddy. Have a great night. Get home safe. We will see you tomorrow. Talk to you tomorrow. Bulls Nation, allchgo.com is where you can find Goat stuff. Follow him on Twitter for his updates. Will_Gottlieb. Peace out, buddy.
Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.
I'm so jealous that Goat got to see Joey tonight. So freaking jealous.
Really, we couldn't tell.
Well, if you weren't on strike, you might have run into it.
Purdue for the win. Oh, that was excellent. Yeah, I got to give you some on that, Will. That was pretty damn good.
Strike.
That was pretty
anyway,
good. That was good.
I'm still watching this team every night.
Yes.
I'm still out here talking for and with my fellow Bulls fans.
This is true.
I'm just preventing certain money from entering certain pockets.
Yeah,
at least doing my part in that regard.
That's right. Solidarity happening out there.
Solidarity?
Solidarity.
Oh, solidarity.
Solidarity.
I see.
Representing, sir.
So, guys, real quick before we get out of here. Mavs, Wolves back-to-back. Bulls go 0-2, 1-1, or 2-0.
The way this season's going, I'm not going to say 0-2. I'm going to say 1-1.
Okay.
Because, look at what's been happening. Like I just told you, the Bucks are 1-6. You know what I mean? Like, so
stranger things have happened.
Yeah, man. Detroit. Who did Detroit beat? They just beat somebody.
Beat the
tonight.
Lakers.
Lakers. Yes, Detroit just beat the Lakers tonight.
The Lakers are a joke.
True, but still, they beat the
I
Lakers.
mean, they haven't been to start the season. AD's been balling.
Yeah, but that record is coming down.
Coming
down. But yeah, man, like it's been a crazy, interesting season so far. So I'm gonna say 1-1, and they pull one out in a shootout against one of these teams.
Well, I'm going to say that they play the way they played against the Bucks when they play Dallas.
Okay.
I think they're going to play well. They're going to play hard. And then they're probably just not going to have enough gas to compete with Minnesota for 4 quarters, much like we saw them beat, Milwaukee and then lose to OKC.
Mm-hmm.
But the last thing I wanted to address real quick was, people don't seem to be making that big of a deal about this game. I think the way I look at it is, listen, you had a very disappointing game against the Nets. And then you followed up with this. It's almost like you've compounded the issue, the problem, right? And that's kind of what you're trying to get away from. It's not so much about the fact that they lost. It's just how they lost. And now that's 2 in a row. When you see, how well they played against Milwaukee, and people are like, Milwaukee's 1-6. But individually, they have a lot of good, solid personnel, and how well they played against the Magic, a team that has punked them over the last couple of years. So what is it that they need to be doing to consistently be ready to play on every night? And I know it's not going to happen every night, but one of the things that, as I was telling you when we go back to Greg Popovich, he was like, we need to focus on effort more than anything. Effort has to be our number one priority. And even if then we lose, as Pop used to say, there's no moral victories in good losses. But at least if you go out there and give it your all, and you sit there and say, hey, man, we just played our ass off. They just beat us. I don't think you could technically say that. I mean, I know that we didn't shoot well and they shot really well. But one thing I kept saying is, man, that shot's wide open. So if you're not going to defend the shot or get a hand up or not rotate properly, then something's wrong. Yeah. You're making mistakes. You can still play hard and lose, and then we'd all be happy, and you're still setting yourself up for the draft. But that doesn't help your culture. That doesn't help a style of play. That doesn't help accountability. That doesn't account reliability. And remember what we're the bigger picture here. Let's just say some free agents that weren't playing tonight are watching the game, and they're just like, what's that team's identity? What are they? Well, I understand guys were, hurt, but
hi, Giannis.
if I go there, are these guys really going to bust their ass, or is this they going to have an off night, an on night? That's what players are looking for. Free agents. It's not just about, hey, we're going to pay you and you get to play in Chicago and we got this great practice facility. So does everybody else. So these guys are starting to figure it out as far as like the generational players that, it's about winning championships.
Yes.
And that's the one thing I love about Giannis. He's basically said, if you don't put me in a position to win, I'm out of here.
I'm out. Yeah. That's what he said.
Y'all, we are almost out of time. That's going to do it for the televised portion of today's show for all of you streaming out there in Samsung and Roku land. But we're not done yet. Head to allchgo.com for overtime. Quick shout out to Kimberly and all the other new CHGO diehards out there. Kimberly in the comments saying, thank you for the new diehard member gear. Love everything, even the box it comes in. That's right. Kimberly telling you, if you aren't a diehard yet, you got to join the Cool Kids Club. And I believe until 10 a.m. tomorrow, 10 a.m. Tuesday, that diehard exclusive first-time membership offer is still going on. You have a few hours left to jump on this wagon. $4 a month. Just $4 a month gets you all the best coverage from our credentialed reporters and all of their great writing and reporting, including Will the Goat Gottlieb. His best stuff is for diehards only, plus access to that diehard Discord lounge, hanging out there, ad-free, wonderful community environment to chat with your fellow diehard Chicago sports fans. One channel for each of your Chicago teams, plus the free shirt when you sign up. Pick one. Grab yourself a Sub-Zero shirt, whatever you will like. There's also plenty of awesome shirts for all of your favorite Chicago sports teams. 20% off every time you shop at that All-City merch locker. Discounts on all of our various events that we do, our takeovers, the CHGO Bears tailgates. God, we need a home game and a win. Can the Bears get a freaking win?
Uh-oh. I heard it coming.
It's okay. It's okay.
Bubbling up.
It's okay.
Bubbling up.
Commiserate with your fellow Bears fans at a CHGO Bears diehard tailgate.
Yeah.
Get that diehard ticket price on it.
You want to hear something interesting?
Please do. By that I mean yes, as in like, please do tell me something interesting.
I got you, sir. I got you. When the Bears play, and I watch the game with the CHGO crew,
they're undefeated.
They're 4-1.
That's this year.
This year, when I watch the game by myself at home, they're 0-3.
Dude.
So
dun, dun, dun.
I see you at the tailgate. So that's what I'm telling you. See you at the tailgate.
Big Dave just said it's his fault.
I'm just telling you that
it's his fault.
That I'm amazing.
Accountability.
Accountability, man. Hey.
Sign up to become a diehard. It won't be your fault. It'll be just a really smart decision that you made. Shout out to TJ Price 12 also, who said, hey, my dudes, longtime listener, first time commenter.
Hey.
Love the show.
Shout
Love
out.
the boys. My God, I miss those Caruso style closeouts on 3-pointers. Get down, Mr. President. Oh,
well done.
Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. No.
And shout out Prison Mike with a super chat saying Bulls may have lost, but just left the Rockets game. At least the Knicks lost.
Come on.
So not all that bad. Screw the Knicks.
Come on, Prison Mike.
Clearly going for those big Dave points.
Oh, and you getting them all, my friend. Shout out to you. And on a little more somber note, I wanted to say rest in love to the one and only Quincy Jones, 91 years old, passed away. Arguably the greatest producer of my lifetime, for sure, and definitely of a lot of other people's lifetimes. The soundtrack of your life, and you don't even know it. He is that amazing. Please, I'm finding out all these things that he produced that I had no idea that Quincy Jones produced. He's that good, man. So thank you, Quincy Jones, for everything that you did.
Indeed. Rest in peace to a legend. What was that last one to end on a happy note about our guy JR flip side saying, in reference to Purdue's comment about me not going to the UC, Purdue got produced on.
Well done. Well done, flip side. Well done.
Can't say nothing to that.
Well done.
Can't say nothing.
It's good stuff.
Indeed it is. That's going to do it for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you
know
subscribe.
what that is? We're holding him to a higher standard.
Oh.
You hold him to his standard.
Why should I have to be held to a higher standard when the Bulls have been giving me this crap?
I'm holding you to standard
for a quarter century.
Yeah. There it is.
Yeah, but that's life, baby. You can't blame them.
That's true.
When you
You're
know
right.
better.
I know I'm better than the Bulls, and I do hold myself to a higher standard than the Bulls. Clearly. I put time and care into my work.
Can't you tell? Right?
Hey, just do me a favor, okay? Throughout this season, don't put me in a position where I got to talk to Redacted and have her have a talk with you.
Oh, damn. Will is on one.
He had to get it in there. You know he had to get it in there.
I thought he was going to say, don't put me in a position where I got to, go have some conversations over there at the United Center.
That's what my head was.
People
That's
feel
exactly what my head was.
You're hanging out with this hooligan now, Will? About those sweet visits, Mr. Bulls ambassador.
Mr. BMO Clubs. Okay. All right.
Hey.
He go, boop. I don't know what's going on.
Access denied. Access denied.
Why is security walking this way?
Oh,
my God.
F around and find out, Will.
Oh, man.
You're hanging out in the back of the classroom.
Oh, that's good stuff.
With the people.
Oh, that's good stuff.
They bring the old sniffing dog over and it starts going nuts.
Right.
Sorry, sir, you can't come in. You've been around Matt Peck.
He said, Will is like, sir, you've known me for 20 years.
Oh, my goodness. That's it
That's
for
what
tonight.
the dog is feeling the scent effect? Okay,
Yeah.
I got that. All right. That's all right.
man.
All right.
A dog has never sniffed me twice going through airports.
Okay.
Never once.
Yeah, but
I'm going to knock on wood, but never
yeah.
once.
He smells the Burks on you. That's it. That's it. He's like, you smell like hat throws. Like, get out of here.
These Burks smell more like victory than anything Bulls related this season. These Burks know how to win. They care about winning.
3 and 4.
Well, shout out and thanks to our producer on the controls, the one and only Queen Katie Dovey.
Hey.
Will Perdue, Will_Perdue 32. He's the man in the middle. He hangs
Yes.
out with us a lot. That's cool.
Big
Big Dave, bow, BAWL Sports. Again, our guy, Will the Goat, Will_Gottlieb, read his stuff, ALLCITY.com. We are back tomorrow, 5:30 Central Time with a live show. And on the side of that, some cool stuff, talking to some cool All-NBA, All-City people. That will be a part of tomorrow's content from CHGO Bulls. Keep an eye out for that. Shout out again, and thanks to everybody for getting us to 10K on that Twitter account, CHGO Bulls. Follow it if you aren't already, CHGO_Bulls. Appreciate y'all, Bulls Nation. Have a great night. See you, Rebby.
We all silly like the mayor.